D5 commissioner on. I got the D5 commissioner on here with the Utah GM Josh Barber. I am the general manager of the Memphis Grizzlies, and here's our second podcast that we've ever put out. So we're going to take a little bit of time talking about the D5 playoffs, the real playoffs, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about the draft because that's what the three GMs here really care about.
I guess it is.
Golden State swept Sacramento. What's everyone
Your
think about?
broom's ready.
What's everyone think about the Lakers beating Denver? That's quite the surprise, I think, for everybody.
That was the biggest surprise, wasn't it, this year?
I'll say.
Even when it went to 7 games, I was just thinking, there's no way the Lakers are going to win, but they did.
Here's my thoughts on that. So, Alex is a great GM, and he's one of the best, if not the best GM in D5. But I think he has to take more risk if he wants to win a championship. I mean, he has 3 really good players and Brook Lopez, but he traded Chris Bosh for Brook Lopez, which is a sizable downgrade as far as Sims are concerned.
But didn't he do that for cap space and stuff or something?
Well, he got cap space to re-sign Brook Lopez, but he already had Chris Bosh on a contract, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, then he held on to the Spurs pick all year when I know a lot of people offered him really good power forwards for that pick. So I just think he's going to have to take the next step if he wants to win a championship. But I mean, he still has a really young team, and they're going to be really good for a really long time, but he's going to have to take some risk. Because if you look at the stats, the Lakers' front court of Randolph and Gortat just absolutely destroyed Ilyasova and Lopez.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to take a front court like Golden State. I mean, they've got Dwight and Pau Gasol, so they've got defense and offense right there.
Yeah. Did you see Dwight's stats for the first series? He's averaging like 30 points a game. I think Steph Curry was getting 34 a game.
Yeah, both of them. It's like a dynamic duo.
Yeah, they're really looking like a powerhouse right now.
Let's have a look.
How about the Lakers, though? I mean, Kobe still got it in D5.
Yeah.
Sharing the load, though. I'm just having a look at the stats now. Because Zach Randolph's actually the highest scorer on them at the moment.
I almost forgot that they even had Zach Randolph on their team.
Oh, he did have Ilyasova guarding him, so.
And that probably took a toll because.
Whereas Kobe had the defensive specialist that is James Harden, locking him down every night.
Yeah, but if you look at the front court, I mean, Gortat got 18 and Randolph got 21, and they both Gortat shot 58% and Randolph shot 52%. So it's just hard to beat that like night in and night out.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at Denver, Kyrie Irving played terribly. He was just shut down. He had 13 points a game.
Jesus, yeah.
5.3 assists per game on 34.8% shooting. So he really got outplayed by Goran Dragic.
Oh yeah.
Well, Charlie Villanueva is looking like he was a pretty good pickup. I believe I traded him to the Lakers, or he was on my team to start off. I know that.
Where does he even play now in real life?
In real life, I think he's still on the Detroit. I think he's on the Pistons, maybe.
Let's see. I don't think he's on a team right now. Oh yeah, it says Pistons.
Because they can't trade that contract, from my understanding.
He must have been injured. He played 20 games this season.
So this is why I think Joe Dumars is just yet another reason why Joe Dumars was a rubbish GM.
Yeah, and then you see that pick they traded with Ben Gordon to the Bobcats ended up being the 9th overall now. So
yeah,
they basically traded away a top 10 pick to get rid of Ben Gordon, who they signed a contract for like 2 years before and decided they didn't want anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just a mess.
To be fair, I mean, they were going to end up giving that pickup eventually. I think they hired Stan Van Gundy to be their GM, or like sort of like the Greg Popovich kind of thing, where he's like sort of the GM, but he's also the head coach.
What could go wrong?
I personally would have liked Stan Van Gundy to have been hired by the real life Cavaliers.
Yeah,
Just
that would have been a good fit. I think he's a good GM for like problem teams, which
Really?
Detroit definitely is.
like,
Or not GM, sorry, coach.
yeah, and like I keep seeing like little things on that they're trying to find a coach that wants to accept input from like our GM and our owner, and I don't like that at all for the Cavaliers. Like they need to give the players to the coach, let the coach do what he wants to do. Otherwise, you're not going to get a slam dunk coach. Like they could be getting, um, they could have like George Karl. Like he said he wanted to coach the Cavs.
Yeah, I was
Like
just thinking he would
just
be a
get
really
him.
good fit for that team, especially with his play style, because he runs. I mean, he runs fast. He runs a lot of guards, which they have right now.
Yeah, and I I don't know if anybody like took a second to like look at the end of season stats for the last season. George Karl was with that team. Like they had the worst free throw shooting team like ever. They shot like 57%. If they would have shot like 70%, because they averaged like 109 points a game, like that season, or something along those lines. If they would have shot 70% from the free throw line, that team would have averaged like 130 points a game and probably would have won the championship. But Andre Iguodala shot like 58% from the free throw line, which is ridiculous for a guard. I mean, that's outrageously low.
Yeah, Iggy really changed. I don't know. He's had a weird career.
Yeah.
He started out he couldn't shoot at all. Then he could shoot for a little bit, and now he can't really shoot again.
Yeah, a weird situation. So Dallas beating Oklahoma City. I don't think did anybody have that happening?
I think I had that actually.
Yeah, I would think that because OKC just faff around, as we say in England, with their depth chart far too much. If you're listening to this, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, you got to stop, like, what does he do? Shane Battier at power forward, he's just not meant to be there, really. And I don't know. And,
he can
like,
do that on the.
Ronnie Brewer played power forward one game. It's just silly.
Dallas had home court in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I think neither of them are, like on paper, they have some good players, but neither of them seem like they would be good teams. I don't know. I mean, look at like Dallas. Like they got Jared Dudley and Evan Turner in the starting lineup, and then the Thunder have a big hole with like Cephalosha and Battier.
I have to root for Dallas because I did trade them Nene, and so I kind of wanted to root for them. So I'm glad they were able to get at least that first round victory.
I think Danny Longley, he's done a good job this year sort of shoring up what he had, the foundations of what he had. And he got Rondo off of me early on and stuff. But this is, I don't know how much further he can push it, and I'm not sure it's going to get him a championship.
Yeah, especially with Dirk getting older, it's going to be hard going forward.
I think that Danny's going to have to focus on what real life Dirk does. Like if he takes a discount in real life, then I think that would mean that he'd be likely to take a discount in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, $12 to $13 million a year for a 20-point per game scorer is very cheap. And if he's able to do that, because obviously you want him to be a Maverick for life, and like it's similar to what Tim Duncan did, and the Texas team, the San Antonio and Dallas typically have players that are more level-headed, I'd say, than some other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe.
Or you mean less selfish?
Yeah, I don't see it as selfish because his reasoning behind it was good. Of basically, they got billionaires sitting there telling me I can't make this money when they're gonna pay it to me anyway. Might as well. But and he's won his championship, so he doesn't really care.
What, Dirk?
Yeah, not Dirk, Kobe. I mean, that was his excuse for like why he didn't take a discount or whatever.
I don't understand what Kobe's doing, and he's like complaining now about every coaching candidate they bring up. It's like he wants to be the player /coach/GM, but he won't let them make any moves to actually improve the team.
I mean, Kobe had that power this last season. I mean, even though he hardly even played a game, you could see Mike Brown was under pressure just from Kobe and stuff like that.
I think
And
that
what power does the coach have when Kobe can do that?
when Dr. Bust died, I think that the Lakers are going to turn into the New York Knicks as far as being just a terrible big market team, and it's going to be hilarious because they're the
That would be amazing.
most spoiled fans in the history of the NBA
Yeah.
are the Lakers, and I keep seeing all these Lakers fans saying like, "Oh, Kobe or Kevin Love wants to come to LA." Well, like those guys would get eaten alive in Los Angeles because their fans are the most two-faced, horrible fans on the planet. Like
They've still got the legacy though, and they've still got who they are. They're still the most popular team on the planet.
oh,
But
certainly,
it all does stem from the ownership, as Jim Dolan will prove.
yes, I think that they will. They're probably too big to fail, but I think 4 or 5 straight years of being terrible with Kobe's contract weighing him down. I mean, got 2 more years of $30 million Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe kind of screwed him over because I mean it's a very attractive free agent location, but there is a salary cap, and I mean if you don't have money to spend, you can't spend money. So
And they're trying to say that LeBron James wants to go there. Why would LeBron James want to go to play with like
No.
the equivalent of Dwayne Wade?
That's about as likely as LeBron going back to Cleveland after Dan Gilbert burned all the bridges in between there and Miami.
I don't know. How about this? LeBron James's kids just got enrolled in schools in Akron for next year.
Oh, that's confusing.
maybe it's better school system than Miami. Doesn't seem likely.
I guess from some reports, I guess his wife and his kids hate it down there.
What? Oh, okay.
Interestingly enough. So Portland, Minnesota. I think Portland's gonna destroy Dallas.
No surprises there.
No offense to Dallas, but
I think this second round in the West is pretty. There's 2 heavy favorites. I could see Dallas taking it to 6 or 7 though.
Well,
but I think Portland takes that one.
Yeah, I think now that Denver's gone, I would think that Golden State and Portland are the ones to watch.
Yep.
I'd agree with that. So everybody have Miami sweeping Cleveland.
I could see Cleveland winning a game or 2.
This matchup is so much like the
Brooklyn,
Heat versus Nets.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers are basically the Brooklyn Nets in D5. I think actually the Cavaliers here at D5 are actually looking better on paper than the Brooklyn Nets maybe, although they don't have Sean Livingston and stuff.
I don't recall, but did DeMar DeRozan get his boost yet for these playoffs, or is that like an off-season thing? Okay.
It's not something I just do it whenever.
Well, I
Just do it
mean,
whenever I get the chance. I haven't even looked at the stock watch for about a week now.
it's been
Walt
kind
Frazier will
of
hate me.
barren.
I think Miami looked really dominant in the first round though, even with Josh Smith playing center. I don't know. If Miami doesn't come out of the East, it's going to be really surprising.
Yeah, I think so.
Brooklyn lost to Toronto. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. Chicago, I think, is going to kill Toronto personally.
Yeah.
Well,
No offense to
Toronto's been on a roll though. Like he ended the regular season on he won 11 out of his last 12 or something, and then he's almost swept the Nets. And I just think I don't know. Sometimes in the game, the sim like NBA Live, it kind of once you get a momentum up, it'll just keep rolling, and they seem to be on that, even though they just got their asses kicked by the Bulls. But
I think it might be back to reality pretty soon for Toronto.
Yeah,
because
they have a good team. They got a really good front court though, with Roy Hibbert and Paul Millsap. Like if you had that in real life, in the East, you'd be a playoff contender, assuming Roy Hibbert doesn't die the last part of the season like he did in real life. I feel really bad for Toronto if Roy Hibbert next season just sucks.
Yeah.
I think he's alright.
These 2 teams are actually pretty similar on paper. They both have good front courts with one defensive and one offensive player. They both have good point guards, and then their 2 wing players are just both kind of trash, but
They've both got small forwards who, if they couldn't shoot, might as well be just a corpse on the court.
Yeah, I think that I'd take Kyle Korver over Jimmy Butler and Matt Barnes.
Well, at the moment he's starting Rashard Lewis.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, it's fair enough. I think he's not got a complete rating decrease. What's he at the moment?
I think he's like a 78, isn't he?
76 at the moment.
76. Yeah, I mean, I think Toronto will win some games, but neither of these teams are beating Miami.
Well, I think the Bulls could give him a run. They always seem to give him a run, I think. But yeah, I mean, what's just kind of ridiculous at the moment in the East is that you've got Miami, and then there's really nobody else who's going to make a dent in their armor. I think, yeah, that's kind of.
I like Chicago's front court maybe a little more than I like Miami's.
But they've got Josh Smith. He's so much better than than Chris Bosh. And pretty much every power forward you could imagine. Carmelo.
He might be he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, that's for sure.
Maybe he just needed to play center, and it's going to be like a new page for him.
Who said it last time, Josh? I think it was you. You were saying like you've moved Josh to center so that he stops shooting.
Yeah,
clearly worked. Because Andrew Bynum just won't shoot. I think.
Let's look at Josh Smith's stats for the first round. Let's see what he got. Let's see, 16.5 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 2.75 blocks. So he actually lit it up in the first round. He only shot 42%.
3 points, 2 out of 10 3-pointers attempted. Shot.
Yeah.
Well, that's realistic.
Look at that, LeBron James, 66% shooting, 34.5 points per game, 10 for 17 3-pointers.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, this might be a time, Josh, to talk about the ratings committee as well. We're looking at because maybe not. Maybe I'll just wait.
Yeah.
I'll do the announcement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Pretend I didn't move on. It was not said.
Alrighty, so we've got playoffs out of the way pretty quickly, I think.
Should we do predictions, or did we already kind of do that?
We kind of did that, I think.
Golden
State, Portland, Miami, and Chicago.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's picking upsets here, so.
Yeah, how about you, Ian?
I think the most likely, what would it be? I think Toronto would be the most likely upset to occur.
I would say Dallas for most likely, even though I have Portland winning the championship in my little but I could see Dallas beating Portland.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Portland are just so stacked at every position, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Kyle is Charles Barkley.
All right. Oh, good. Hey, Charles. Turn your thing off mute. No, he's stubborn. He's bloody Cleveland fan.
All right. Sorry about that. I just got home.
We welcome Houston General Manager Charles Barkley as Kyle Stroop. We just got done with our D5 playoff predictions. We're about to talk about real-life playoffs. San Antonio got whomped on yesterday. Like, Serge Ibaka came out and just destroyed people.
You're talking about the real playoffs?
Yeah, the real playoffs. Certainly not JR's San Antonio Spurs.
I was going to say, I was like...
Well, they would probably get whomped on, too.
Yeah.
I don't know what announcer it is, but one of them says, all the time he says, it's a make-or-miss league. And yesterday, San Antonio just could not make a shot. Like, in the first half, they were getting good looks, and they just weren't making them. It's a series now, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I still think San Antonio is going to win. I don't think, even without Ibaka, they were ever going to they were ever going to get swept. I mean,
well, yeah.
But I think that there's that history of them. They lost 4 in a row to them before, and that's how they got into the finals the last time, if I remember right.
OKC has to win this next one at home, Because
Oh
if
yeah.
if you go back to San Antonio 2-2, then you have a little hope. But if you get down 3-1 to the Spurs, you
Yeah.
may as well write it off.
Yeah.
All right, then we've got Indiana versus Miami. I think Lance Stevenson sounds like an idiot with all his trash talk.
I love it.
I like it too, but like,
This is why Josh acquired him.
He's an idiot, but he's been the best player on the Pacers in that series so far.
oh,
Like,
easily.
Paul George has just disappeared.
Yeah.
I know he had the concussion or whatever, but he got in some foul trouble last game. He just didn't really do anything.
Wasn't he still like he was like 0 for 6 or something when he got hit in the head? I mean, it's not like
I
he was
think-
doing amazing before that.
I think both Paul George and Roy Hibbert, they seem to be kind of media-created superstars, and there's not actually the substance there to back it up all the time. Like, Paul George is clearly a good player, but he's just like,
Yeah,
not a
I would agree with that. I think the media wanted to find like LeBron James as a rival in the Eastern Conference, and they chose Paul George because he's the best, like one of the best players on the other team in the East besides the Heat. So
I would agree with that. Props to Indiana for being able to fabricate media-created superstars. I mean, New York is always the team that typically does that. Of like, remember when what was that guy's name? The white guy.
white guy on New York.
Yeah, when they were in the playoffs last year. He went to Toronto. I'll find him. Hold on.
A superstar?
Not like
No,
superstar, but like
you're not
he
thinking
got.
of Gianni.
No.
Landry Fields?
Oh, yeah, Landry.
Him and the other white guy. Landry
Okay.
feels like black, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
He's like mixed or something, yeah.
Steve Novak was like supposedly like.
Oh, he
This-
just came in and hit threes.
Yeah, but like you got like such like so much more from the hype that was generated by that playoff series, and then it really just kind of broke down, as in like he really kind of sucks.
Yeah. don't-
That's
I
why
don't
he didn't play much.
I don't think Indiana's out of this series yet. I think just their defense alone, because Miami's offense, it's efficient, but they don't always put up a ton of points.
There's a chink in their armor for sure. Like,
Yeah, I think the
compared to-
Pacers could. If the Pacers win tonight, then it's definitely going to be interesting. I don't know if they'd be favored going forward, but I mean, they're not out of it like a lot of people think they are.
I think that the main reason that I hope that I've been rooting for San Antonio these whole playoffs.
Yeah,
because
same.
I think the San Antonio Miami Heat finals was probably one of the best in the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's
And-
definitely what the league wants right now.
Really? You don't think they want Durant? LeBron?
No, they're
Because they
taking
can't
Tim
win.
Duncan for one last time.
They can't
the
win. Like,
Thunder would get swept.
You think?
I still don't think they would get swept. I think
I
they
don't
would.
think they guess.
They'd steal a game or two, but I don't think there'd be any question of the odds of. The odds would be way more in Miami's favor than they would be going against San Antonio.
I think the Spurs Heat matchup is so intriguing because on one side you have the Spurs who are like your classic, just like solid fundamental team with Tim Duncan who is like a superstar but doesn't have the personality, and
Yeah.
they just win with team basketball. Whereas on the other side you have the Heat where it's like these three superstars who can just dominate the game by themselves. So it's just really two different teams, but they're both really good at what they do.
What's interesting about Miami is like, yeah, they have like the three superstars, the big three, but they probably play the most like San Antonio out of any other team in the league. If you really think about it, like the free ball movement, that the only person that gets yelled at for shooting is Mario Chalmers. So I mean,
Yeah,
Whereas-
he kind of got benched last game.
oh yeah, Norris Cole is looking like he's from Cleveland State, believe that or not. But he
Yeah. I think Cole's been playing because it's the Pacers you need penetration against, and that's not what Chalmers is doing, but Norris Cole can do that.
Yeah, Chalmers is more of a spot-up guy. I think that Norris Cole's getting a little bit of the Boobie Gibson effect of just you play with LeBron so you look like 10 times better than you really are.
Yeah.
The Maurice Williams effect.
Danielle Marshall.
Yeah.
I was looking for Mo Williams in the D5 roster page, and I just realized that he was Mo Reese Williams in our league. So like this whole time, I'm like, where the heck is Mo Williams? Like, do I have to put a player ad thread in here for Mo Williams?
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what team he plays on.
He was on the Pacers for a
Wizards.
bit. No, yeah.
He's one of those players. He's like Jameer Nelson. He just gets traded everywhere.
Those long contracts that are just so overvalued that you just got to get rid of. They're the poison pill in every deal.
Eventually, they'll end up on either the Spurs or the Heat.
Yeah.
You got to give it 3 years until then. Yeah.
Well, wasn't Jameer on the Heat?
Yeah, he was. For a
Yeah, I
while.
think he was.
He got traded off. Troy didn't want him. That's bad news.
So I just wanted to take a second because I know that Billy King gets like quite a lot of flack, but he did a really good job of acquiring future assets while also clearing all of his like ridiculous contracts. So like now he has, I still think Lou Williams is still kind of a ridiculous contract, but he's got 2 okay younger players. One guy who was out due to injury, but he was a 19 points per game scorer, but he's got 25, 26, or however much cap space.
32 million coming up this season.
Yeah.
People have way too much cap space this offseason. It's just going to be a free-for-all. That's why I decided against it.
This is going to be tough for me and Josh and the player agents.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess.
Because people are just going to be throwing money at
Get
everything.
10 max offers, you got to figure out what
Yeah.
to do.
Well, like a lot of people were kind of they asking me like when I was doing trade offers and stuff. I was like getting these like 2-year deals, is because I saw everybody has like look at Milwaukee's team. Like that is just like if you want to go to a team that's going to be good real soon, if you're a free agent,
Yeah.
he's got infinity money.
If I was Glenn Robinson this season, you know, I'd be throwing money at some free agents because once you lock them up, he's already got the whole structure of his team locked up anyway.
But
So.
I think the problem there is that he can't offer him a starting position.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to come play on the bench for his team when they still need
Yeah.
years to develop.
But he could go get the best point guard available, Steph Curry.
He could, but he has Drew Holiday on bird rights. So,
Yeah, but
Doesn't Glenn? I don't think Glenn does. When did he get through?
I think he does.
Oh, okay. I need to make a list when we start off-season free agency of who's got bird rights and. Just
Oh, you
Maybe
didn't-
he doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter because he has a ton of cap room anyway. But
he
Yeah.
signed his point guard of the future in Patrick Beverly. Like that was his backup plan in case he can't get Holiday. But I don't see any situation where Drew Holiday doesn't re-sign with him now, regardless of whether he's a.
I thought that signing was kind of weird because if I'm Drew Holiday, like he has Patrick Beverly and Kendall Marshall, who are both like decent point guards. So Drew would be a third point guard there. I mean, obviously he's going to start, but I don't know if he's going to share all that playtime.
Kendall Marshall's kind of like he's been in and out of the D League and stuff over his NBA tenure so far.
Oh yeah, he's totally he's just a product of the D'Antoni system.
Yeah.
He's just like a weird player. Like he was very highly regarded coming into the draft, and then he just kind of never panned out because he got hurt or something. And
I
then
feel like it's going to be the same with Tyler Ennis this year.
Whoever the Lakers pick might automatically be Rookie of the Year
Yeah.
because they're going to start. They're going to get a ton of shots, a ton of playtime.
I think that for Milwaukee, if they in my mind, here's what they do. I think that they could trade Andre Drummond for a top 10 pick in this draft.
Why would they do it?
Get a
I'll make
prospect.
that trade if you're listening, Glenn. I'll give you the 8th pick for Andre Drummond.
Here's why: because you could slide Anthony Davis over to the center position, and then you could sign yourself some Blake Griffin. And
If Glenn wants to do that, I'll give him one of my top 6 picks for Andre Drummond.
Hey man, I already called it.
You're 8, man. I'm 2.
That
not
is
fair.
that is how off-season free agency works. Whoever calls it first Whoever just shouts shotgun, first of all, that's who gets the player, basically. That's the unwritten rule that all of us use.
And then
Well,
people say you don't
that
want to
was
go
a
to
joke.
Milwaukee. Like, you don't want to go to Milwaukee, but did anybody else see how hot that one chick was? Like,
Mallory Edens. Eden.
yeah, for the draft lottery.
I'll
Oh,
trade
yeah,
both my
yeah.
top 6 picks to wife her up.
He's rich too, right?
Oh yeah.
Daughter of a billionaire. I would never have to do anything. It could just be the D5
He hasn't made.
D5 lifer.
People like that just piss me off.
Yeah.
She's born beautiful and rich.
Charles Barkley is just the luckiest guy in the world at the moment. I was thinking that, and Victor Oladipo got Rookie of the Year, and I'm like, fucking Charles Barkley again. God's been.
I'm on a roll. Victor Oladipo is on the trading block, though, if things go the right way in the draft.
If you'd like the number 8 pick, can make that happen.
No, I'm going to want... I don't know. I'm saying this right now. If I land like the 3rd pick and Wiggins and Embiid go 1 and 2, I'm trading Jabari Parker. I don't want anything to do with him.
Oh, awesome.
So if you're out there listening and you want Jabari Parker, come and get him.
That's interesting.
Yep.
That's going to seriously help my plans. It's great.
Well, I know that you're going after Parkham and Exum, so I'm hoping...
What?
Yeah, you got to get the Australian-born Exum. You got to keep it together. Trade for Steven Adams. He's from Australia.
He's from New Zealand, right?
No,
Yeah.
he's from Melbourne. That's where I'm from. I was very proud of him.
Wait, Exum or Adams?
Oh, sorry. Exum is from Australia.
Adams is New Zealand.
But like, Exum's got more question marks over his head than Embiid at the moment because nobody's got any decent footage from any time within the last 9-10 months.
Yeah.
And
He's hyped up, though.
If I need a point guard, the guy who I'm taking is Alfred Payton. He's
What?
just a baller.
With like a top 6 pick.
I think, like, if I traded back, like if I had Parker and dropped back and ended up moving Oladipo, I'd want Alfred Payton. He's just the guy is like he shot 56% from the free throw line, but his defense and his passing is just amazing.
Why have I never heard of Alfred Payton?
Because he plays for University of Louisiana Lafayette, but he's going to end up moving up to the late lottery.
He is a good guy. I think he's an interesting player. I've got him. I'd say I put him pretty high on my draft board. I don't think I'll get him. I've got the 17th pick, but I would not pick him anywhere in like the top 10. I don't think. I think.
I think he's like 11 through 15. But I mean, if I needed to get a backup point guard, which I probably should invest in.
You should pick him like with your top 3 pick.
I think you should do that as well.
Yeah. I mean, this year we've got Wiggins, Embiid, Parker, and then Alfred Payton.
Alfred Payton.
The big one.
Cannot shoot worth a damn.
And that leads me to my next question about Exum. Is that are there no video cameras in Australia?
No, we didn't invent them.
Yeah, like it's weird because like you'd think that somebody would like put out like they do like the mixtapes on kids in high school that just like they show them off and stuff and like.
Yeah. And the worrying thing is that the reason they've kept him out of the draft combine is because all the GMs are really high on him.
And they don't want to screw it up.
Little tiny bits we've seen, and that's fair enough. But if they're keeping him out for that reason, it's probably a bad sign. Like I'd be pretty worried about taking him. I think unless if the Lakers take him in real life, then bloody go for it because he's going to get so much hype.
Superstar.
Yeah, but if he goes to the Bucks or something, then you got to scratch your head or something because you can't really rely on
the Jazz or something.
The tough thing is like Cleveland has the number 1 overall pick, and I'm not taking whoever they take, and I don't really want to take whoever the Bucks take. So
I think the problem with like, Cleveland is like if you take whoever they take, they're gonna screw it up.
yeah, same with the Bucks. That's what I'm saying.
If you want a surefire bust, Just take the Cleveland pick.
Exactly.
Can I draft Anthony Bennett again?
If they take Wiggins, he's gonna fail, and if they take Embiid, his back is just gonna
That's
implode
why
on
I
itself.
think they have to take Parker, because he's the only one who
Yeah.
we know isn't going to be a complete bust.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
People
just
said
gonna
that
get,
about Bennett.
No one said that
No,
about Bennett.
no.
No one
Bennett
even
was
thought Bennett was
surprised.
top 5.
Bennett's not a bust though. He can.
Yeah.
I think he's still gonna be
Oh,
the Black
no.
Kevin Love.
He's not a number 1 pick.
No, but they didn't need Oladipo.
No
I
one
wouldn't have
was a
taken
number one.
Noel.
If Bennett was in this year's draft, he would not go top 10. I don't
He
think.
wouldn't be a lottery pick.
He'd go like
Mm.
15. Yeah.
I think that no matter what, like, out of all of the picks last year, the first pick, like, maybe is like 10th overall would be like Steven Adams. He'd be the only lottery pick out of all the people taken last year. It's just
Michael Carter Williams.
I think Oladipo would be a lottery pick.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Are
a
you saying
late
in
lottery pick.
retrospect, or if we knew what we knew about him last year?
if,
no,
we,
like-
if we knew what we knew about him last year.
Yeah, like
I think-
those guys
yeah,
aren't
I
as
think
high. Anyway.
Oladipo would still be a lottery pick for sure.
I'd see Oladipo looks better than sort of Gary Harris and
Yeah, I think Nerlens Noel would be a lottery pick.
yeah.
Because there's no big men. There's no centers.
Yeah, but I mean Bennett wouldn't be a lottery pick.
No.
Who went 3rd last year?
Otto Porter, he didn't even play. this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
wouldn't be a lottery pick, I don't think. Or he might be late. I don't know.
Mr. 3 minutes a game, Otto Porter.
Who's got him in D5? I think guys
He was on the Spurs for a while, but then he traded him to someone.
Chicago.
JR.
Chicago got him.
JR kind of gave the cornerstone of his future away.
What was amazing? I mean, JR has put together a team that doesn't look that bad at the moment, really.
That'll
Well,
change.
It's basically Indiana's team, but now they're wearing Spurs jerseys.
Well, yeah. But like, definitely he can do stuff with what he's got. I like Gerald Green. He's on them, and Grievous Vasquez and OJ Mayo could come okay, and Pekovic is all right.
I like individual players on his team. I just do not want any of them. Like,
I like all of them
All
as role
together.
players.
yeah, like
But
Pekovic's the only NBA starting level player on that whole roster. Him and Jameer Nelson.
I don't think with that roster you can compete in the West for the conference championship.
No.
Just because you have like Denver and Golden State.
No, but I think because San Antonio JR traded away a lot of good assets and was at a low point at certain points this season. But in the end, towards the end of this season, he pulled off a few trades, and I was really surprised. And now he's got at least stuff he can do stuff with, and yeah. So I'm going to give him Executive of the Year.
It's decided.
Yeah, that's it. Heard it here first.
He has no draft picks forever.
Yeah, I've got his
Yeah.
next year.
It's usually a
But I
problem.
have been shopping his pick around next year because I think it could, because Denver hung on to his pick for so long this year because really it should have been lower, but, so should have Brooklyn's as well.
Yeah, Brooklyn was like tanking with no picks for like a couple days, and
But
And
they
then I
were
don't know what-
tanking.
It's an interesting strategy.
Jeremiah, are you recording?
I hope so.
Okay, cool. Because it was funny when Billy decided to tank, and he told me, well, I had his pick, and then he messaged me and he says, right, I'm going to tank now. Can I have my pick back? So I was like, well, no. That would be silly. Now I'm going to hang on to it. And now I don't know. Hopefully those picks will go high next year.
Yeah, the problem is that he's in the East, and it's not very hard to make the playoffs in the East,
No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
especially in the Atlantic. No offense.
No, we got like the worst division this last season. And, yeah, makes me want to do even better just to flip and represent the Eastern Conference a bit better.
I think one of the biggest problems this year was that I don't think anybody was quietly tanking. I think there was like probably half the league because I I look at some players even like set to go in the 10 to 15 range, and I think to myself, wow, some of those guys are better prospects than anybody that came out of the draft last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I kind of screwed myself getting the 8th pick, but I'm not too upset about it just because there are so many good players this year.
Yeah, and especially, well, I mean, you've got like the top 3, I guess, with Embiid, Parker, Wiggins, and then you could say Exum comes after them. It seems maybe.
Yeah, I think there's actually 8 good. I mean there's the top. I think
Yeah.
there's the top 4, and then in
After
my
that, it
mind
doesn't drop
there's
off that
another.
much.
Yeah, there's another 4 in my mind, and then I think it drops off at number
And
9.
there's some real question marks over the top 4 players, if you want to call them, and any of the guys that come after him could do better. Like Noah Vonleh, he's kind of like Al Jefferson a bit. Julius Randle, I mean, I'm not so high on Randle, but he could be just as dominant as he was in college. Aaron Gordon obviously could be like a Blake Griffin. I thought that he was undersized and stuff like that, but Josh, you put me right there. He's just as good. Nick Stauskas looks like bloody Manu Ginobili, and
Yeah, Nick Stauskas looks
Yeah,
really good.
I don't know about Nick Stauskas. I'm not very high on him.
I wasn't, then I watched
Max
that
Green.
workout.
But that workout,
Bogue
just
State.
carry picking his. I mean, he made like 8 in a row or something, right? Which I guess is
Yeah.
impressive. But it looked like he was shooting from the college line and not the NBA line. I don't know.
He was shooting from the college line at first, then towards the end of it, he stepped back and hit like 9 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a good shooter. It depends. It all depends where these guys get drafted. Because I mean, if you get drafted, like the 76ers have like the 11th or 12th pick or something, right?
They have like
Mhm.
they have
Whoever-
8 picks.
Whoever goes there is going to be very valuable because the offense is the fastest in the league and they'll get a lot of play time.
Yeah.
Whereas like a pick right before to right after it probably won't be as valuable just because of the team that the player is going to.
how about Marcus Smart? What's everyone's thought process on him? He seems like he's either going to be a transcendent, amazing player, or he's going to be out of the league because he had guns.
He sounds like a Utah bad boy to me.
Hey,
No, I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think worst case scenario he could be like a 6-man or a solid. I think he'll be a solid starting point guard just because he does have the size and he has like the intangibles that you want to, and he does seem like a leader.
yeah, but then I wonder, he's got like his leadership qualities, but maybe he'll in the NBA he will need to take more of a back seat, and whether he'll be able to take more of a back seat or whether he'll be like OJ Mayo and be super hyped coming out of university, but just never really be on a team that's going to succeed.
I think that it depends on how it all shakes out for him, but I think that this second season he came back to school and he really struggled. Kind of maybe
I don't know if I would say he struggled.
not so much struggles, but he had some issues, and I think it might have made him take a step back and go, oh, hey, maybe I'm not super amazing. And if he's able to learn from players that have been there longer than he has, then he has a chance to come out and succeed. But I don't know. Adrian Payne is the one everyone's sleeping on.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Especially
terrible.
He's a big man who can shoot, but I don't know if I would want him. I wouldn't want him in the lottery. I don't think.
No,
He's 6'10", with a 7'4" wingspan. That guy is a giant. So who cares?
and he plays 17 minutes a game because he's got a lung condition.
You know who else is old? Thinking Damian Lillard, and he's like an 85 in this league. So
Because Damian's good.
yeah, so is Adrian Payne.
The Kawhi Leonard gif.
You guys see? Just speaking about Michigan State players, that Gary Harris only measured like 6'2".
Jesus,
Long though.
I think his
do
stock
not want.
He was 6'2" in socks, so you like add an inch.
Yeah,
And like
but
a 6'5.5" wingspan.
right now he's kind of in the Steph Curry mold in that he's like a shooting guard coming out of college, but he's going to have to transition to point guard in the NBA.
Yeah,
And a lot of people have question marks around that.
I like Gary Harris for the fact that he's like probably him and Marcus Smart are probably like the best two-way guards. Like Exum doesn't really like if Gary Harris if we put him at shooting guard, he's probably the best two-way shooting guard in the draft.
But he's
Because the
only
other shooting
6'2".
like Stout,
How he can't guard NBA shooting guards.
Yeah,
He's-
and I don't
quick.
see any shooting guards this draft who make me like excited to watch.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
except for maybe
Stauskas.
Stauskas,
You
yeah.
list him as a shooting guard.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of McDermott?
I think McDermott will have a 12-year career, and he'll eventually get up to the point of being an average NBA defender, because it's a lot easier to hide a 6'8" player than it is to hide like a terrible guard on defense. And if you can shoot the three ball the way he can, there's no reason why you're not going to have a long career, regardless of what your defense is like. There's plenty of guys that have made their living just doing that.
I don't think
Threes.
he's going to be a bust. I think he's going to be pretty solid, and I think he's going to be more solid than people realize. But he's not going to be Dirk Nowitzki 2.0.
top 6 pick.
Nah.
I think that Doug McDermott. I mean, his combine measurements and his athleticism drills actually showed up. I think he jumped like 4 or 5 inches higher than Kyle Korver did, and Kyle Korver's more or less the same guy. Came from the same school, and
McDermott has a post game though.
Is McDermott an NBA small forward or power forward?
He's a small forward.
Yeah, I'd say a small forward.
he's a small power forward, but he's a big, slow, small forward.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
I don't know.
He's one of those guys that has to go
worries
to the
me.
right team. He has to go to the right team, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, he needs to be. He's going to be a bench player for. He needs to be a bench player for a while, probably.
I think
I don't know.
he can end up going to the Suns because they need scorers like on the outside. Because I mean they have Morris and a couple other guys, but
He's
No
a white
one
guy. He's going to
great
go to the
quality.
Timberwolves.
Regardless, I think he's going to fall in the real draft like most white guys do for more athletic guys. I think like Nick Stauskas is pretty athletic. He could go up. Gary Harris will probably jump him on people's big boards just because the, in quotes, potential. And then he's going to go to a team where he can contribute immediately and not have to be the guy like he was in Creighton.
I think he would be good on a playoff team where he's like the 7th or 8th man. I think that'd be a perfect role for him.
Like right now, I would take Doug McDermott before I take Shane Battier, and that's his comparison for me.
Yeah. I can
And-
see
But I
that.
mean,
Maybe not the defense, but
the Suns.
Yeah. Noah Vonleh.
I've heard Vonleh is slipping right now.
I'm over on the Fear the Sword, which is like a Cavaliers website, and their big board has Noah Vonleh at 11.
Yeah, I've heard he's slipping a lot.
There's
A lot of people have crazy big boards. I was looking at them.
Noah Vonleh. There's somebody said they compared him to Tristan Thompson, and I think that just dropped him for a lot of people.
I would compare Julius Randle to Tristan Thompson.
Mm,
Yeah, I like that comparison better.
No, Julius Randle can shoot though.
not really.
Yeah, not really. I mean,
Julius Randle is more of a Zebo.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Zebo is like so long and like
Randall
ridiculous
reminds me of
talented.
like he's an undersized big man who he drives a lot. He's not like he has post moves, but a lot of his scoring is from drives.
He faces up and does that spin move and goes to the left every time.
It's
Yeah.
almost like an unathletic Amari Stoudemire.
yeah. I think the offense that he relied on in the NCAA, he will not be able to rely on in the NBA. And I don't know if unless he develops an outside shot, he's not going to really get over that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get that elbow jumper.
I think that Randall can probably shoot better than most people think he can. Because if I recall, I forget what website I was on talking about how in high school they were talking about how his uh, mid-range post kind of jump shot was actually really really good, but he
Well,
never got to use that in
yeah,
the Kentucky system.
you could say that. Yeah.
Much the way that no one knew that Anthony Davis could actually shoot, and he shows that now when he played in Kentucky.
I didn't realize that Noah Vonleh could shoot, but apparently he shot threes in college.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean not a lot. I mean,
Yeah, I
Vonleh-
mean like one a game, but still, that's significant.
Hey, we got Alex English. Hello, Mr. English. No, I think Vonleh is like he's really kind of goofy, fluffy guy, but he's so huge, and he's got these enormous hands. I think he's got the draft combine biggest hands. I do see him being like a kind of Al Jefferson once he figures out some more post moves
Yeah,
and stuff.
I don't know. I really like young big men. I think. That sounds
Quote him on that, guys. That's in your signature now, Josh.
No, I like to think
Really
that
like young
if you
big
think
men.
about guys like Andre Drummond, like no one was that high on Drummond coming into the league. But if you get one of these big guys when they're 18 or 19 years old, I mean, if they have the potential, then if you have the right coaching staff, there's just so much you can do to make them a franchise
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
Embiid.
Embiid, we didn't really talk about it. Embiid, for me, like, if his everything checks out and he goes number one in the draft, he goes up to number one on my board. Otherwise, he's probably number 6 on my board because
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
you can take the risk at 6 at number 1 if you got a guy that's potentially gonna have career long horrible back problems. It's gonna be kind of rough.
There is that risk, but if you look at like draftexpress.com videos of Embiid, right after you've looked at the draftexpress.com videos, like you can tell I've done this, of Gordon, Vonleh, and Randall and the other big guys in the draft, it's just so obvious to see that Embiid is
He's
just
special.
one rung above him. It's like God tier. You know,
Yeah.
and people will say he's. I mean, there was this discussion going on saying that he's not as good as Anthony Davis, but just the fact that there's that discussion going on, people are not comparing Randall, Vonleh, Gordon to Anthony Davis and saying, is there a chance? There's no chance, but there is with Embiid.
I think that Embiid, regardless, there's such a lack of quality big men in the NBA that just puts him a step above the rest.
He's a
However-
world-class volleyball
Does
player.
it put him a step down though?
No,
'Cause,
I don't know because how bad is that back injury? I know Andre Drummond had that same injury his rookie year in the NBA, and he obviously played all 82 games last year. So, but
And
then
I
there's
think-
also news coming out about Embiid having troubles with his back in high school. That he just played through them, so that kind of worries me a little bit too, because those are a little less. You don't have the school paying for world class doctors like you do in the NCAA.
JoJo, get rebound.
I rebound very good for my team.
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler Ennis next DJ Augustine or next Chris Paul?
I think he's a bust.
I think he's
He's-
terrible.
I've seen him in real life when they came and played Wake, and he didn't stick out at all. You wouldn't know he's the best player on the team.
I think that happens a lot with Syracuse players, though, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
So they play his own.
Jeremy Grant is the best player on Syracuse, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Tyler Ennis being like a Mike Conley type guy if he goes to the right system and has a couple of years to develop and runs a slow-paced offense and just kind of is a floor general. But I don't see it. Like that chance is very low for me. Personally.
He seems to me like one of those guys who he's okay at everything, but he's not really great at anything.
Yeah.
James Young from Kentucky.
I've heard Young is slipping into the 20s, which I think is ridiculous. because a lot of people before preseason in college basketball were saying that Young is a better prospect than Randall.
No.
And I watched some Kentucky basketball this year, and Young looked really good. A lot of times he would carry that team. He's super athletic. I know he's a little undersized, I think.
He's not that athletic.
No, he's 6'7". That's pretty good size for a shooting guard.
The problem with the Kentucky players is that there were so many good players. Like you had the Harrison brothers, you had Poitras, you had Young, you had Willie Cauley-Stein, you had Randall. Like the ball needed to be spread around the floor, and not everyone got their fair shot. Like Young pretty much just sat in the corner and waited for a drive and dish three.
I think James Young is going to be a solid shooting guard, and he'll be a good player, but he's never going to be anything special.
He reminds me
I don't
of
see any elite athleticism there.
he reminds me of like Josh Howard or like Caron Butler, like one of those type of players.
People like are looking at it like you know how everyone was like saying like Bradley Beal was like this next Ray Allen type person, and like you know he only shot 30% from the three in college. The same kind of situation developing with James Young, where like people are like, oh well, he didn't even shoot the three that well. Well, neither did Bradley Beal. He's a guy that I'm looking to go. If he goes to the right team, he probably takes a jump on my board as well.
Like if Young and Peyton and like I don't know another guy, but like Saric, if Young, Peyton, and Saric like start to fall, I think they're going to be great value picks. Like I'd be looking to trade to get them trade into the first. Like,
yeah, I agree. I like Young a lot.
What do you guys think about Dario Saric?
I looked him up the other day. He's an interesting player because he's like a point forward almost, but he's huge.
He's a bit like Bost, yeah.
But he's humongous.
He was the Adriatic League Finals MVP and also the MVP of the entire league. 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. The final game was 23 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 blocks.
It would be nice if we knew exactly when these international guys were going to come over. Because if Saric says he'll come over right away, I think he immediately jumps into the top 5 for me.
Who's that other guy? Like Yusuf or something?
He's awful. He's just such an ugly game.
Just a weird dude.
Screen. I think that's smoke screen.
I've heard a lot of people think he might break the top 10 now.
He might. The only reason he breaks the top 10 is because there's so few big men in this draft.
There's Clint Capella. Clint Capella's a power forward who is very athletic, but he kind of lacks like post technique. But he's from like Switzerland, maybe.
Yeah.
And he's like late first to 18 on like some big boards I've been reading. But I mean, no one knows when he's coming over.
Exactly.
Sorry, go on, Jeremiah.
What is everyone? I'm kind of going down this draft board and this naming guys as we go along to talk about.
Capella and Nurkic are kind of the opposite sides of one another because Capella is 110% athleticism that I was based on, and Nurkic couldn't jump over a phone book, and and he's just fundamental. In fact, he's not even. I just do not see it with Nurkic. He's like big and doesn't even have fundamentals. He's just awkward. I just can't see him ever working even in the NCAA even or anything.
See, you've got to scout those guys in the later round. I don't have any picks. I just got to scout 6 players. like Exum, maybe.
Chuck.
You never know what offers are gonna roll in, so that's why I'm kind of scouting everybody.
Yeah, I've heard the 8th pick might be on the block.
Jabari Parker's on the block.
I'm looking to kind of move up because there's,
What does that say? What does that say about your spot?
Oh, that means he's like 4 and 5.
No, I'm not talking about the top 2 picks that I've got. I mean, and I don't have 1 and 2. What I'm saying is, like, oh shit. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to move because I've got 5 picks in this draft. I've got 17, and then I've got 2 others. I can't remember what. And I'm trying
to 18, 22, and 24.
Thank you. Trying to move into like the late teens and stuff. And I mean, sort of the mid-teens, I guess.
What is Alex trying to do with the San Antonio pick?
Hold on. Caveat. I loved how when, I don't know, Ian announced that the Jazz were at 8, Jeremiah's response was like, fuck this fucking bullshit. And all he had to do was realize the coin flip.
I didn't even know about that.
A little saltiness there.
I was about to get real salty.
He got real salty.
Wait, let me look for the exact quote, I believe. Hang on.
I know if Jeremiah got that salty to post it, I know what he was like in real life, because he was pretty salty that I jumped in the top 3.
Who wouldn't be? I'm pretty salty about that. Jeremiah, I think your quote, and I'm going to read it verbatim, is... Okay, I'm going to say it how it's coming out in my head. I like how Ian announced that Houston moving up, but doesn't say shit about Denver moving up because it's fucking bullshit. And I quote.
You mad, bro?
I don't think he's mad. I think that's a happy Jeremiah. He's fine.
I'm very happy now.
Aren't you guys?
Like Jeremiah gave me shit for like a week and a half in real life about moving up.
I was gonna say, aren't you guys friends? Like,
I forgot
yeah.
he was a mate.
Well, you deserve it.
It all has to do with that damn coin flip. If I would have won that coin flip, it'd be Philadelphia.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. True that. Philly's done well this season. I like what he's done. He's had some good trades.
Yeah, I tried to trade all my team for his 2 big men, but he wouldn't do it.
I can't believe how strongly you wanted to hold on to Dion Waiters. I offered you like 8 or 9 trades throughout the season for him.
I think you offered me your whole team at one point, but I wasn't.
But that is negative value, surely, with the.
When I picked the Memphis Grizzlies, I knew it was going to be difficult because I had like a bunch of just random dudes. Whoever had this team before is a joke.
I think bunch is a strong word. I think you had about 5 players in your lineup.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure I had 5 or 6 minimum contracts, 60 overall guys.
Yeah, like why are you signing 60 overall guys if you can go get like a 71? It was like Nene, J.R. Smith, and then like 860s on the Memphis Grizzlies.
Who was the GM there before? Trying to remember.
Greg Schiano. He pissed me off.
Greg Schiano. What happened to him?
He comes in. He did the same thing in Dynasty 6, and he just pops in, and then hangs around, fucks up a team, and then buggers off. and does it very loudly as well.
Well, Jeremiah picked the all Madden mode to try and be a GM. Turn it around.
Yeah.
So Zach LaVine, super athletic guy.
Yeah. I think.
He looks like Sean Livingston.
No,
James.
it doesn't.
Go ahead, James. What were you gonna say?
I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just curious what you guys think about Shabazz.
He's going to the Heat. Shabazz Napier's going to the Heat. LeBron James already said he wants him.
Yeah.
He's alright. James, who's James? What team do you own?
The Hornets.
Yeah.
James. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Sound a bit
Wait,
too cool.
is Alex in here now too?
You guys think that Chalmers leaves the Heat this year?
Yeah.
I would. I'd be tired of getting yelled at.
Punched. He got punched.
It depends on how many fingers he wants to have rings on.
Yeah.
I would just follow LeBron around.
Once you get carried. Where you guys going next, huh? It's like the guy you're trying to get rid of at the bar. It keeps following you.
They lie to him.
Hey
They're like,
guys,
oh, we're going to Cleveland. He signs there.
I'd actually be okay with that. We could trade Kyrie Irving for something.
Man, the media would love that if Mario Chalmers signed with the Cavs. Everyone would be saying it's a sign that LeBron is going to go there.
Delonte West signs with the Heat.
The most, either he is out of the lottery or he is like top 10. Kyle Anderson.
Ugh.
He's a small
slow.
forward, power forward / no idea what the heck this guy is.
He reminds me of Dario Saric,
He,
except just like less athletic. I
he's
mean,
goofy, right? Like,
He has a huge forehead.
the
He's
thing about
stupid.
the thing about prospects is you're not going to like develop their athleticism. Like you can't make a guy be like, you can't make him like run a better shuttle time after so long. Like it's just not gonna work.
I think like you can add like an inch or two to their vertical with like various workouts, but that's about all you can do.
Like
If-
you're not
if-
gonna turn Parker to Wiggins athletically.
He has to go to a team where they're gonna let him play his game, or else it's not even gonna work.
Yeah, I'm not taking him at 8, just so everybody knows.
No, I wouldn't take him in the top 20.
I like how his position is point guard / forward.
Uh,
I mean,
it's
Carl
goofy.
Anderson is just, it's amazing, I find, watching him, because it looks like it's slow motion, and I don't know how he doesn't lose the ball more often. Although he does lose it a lot, actually. He gets lots of turnovers.
I think he got lots of turnovers because he essentially ran point guard for that team, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That may also
He also
be
had a
the
bunch of
case.
blocks.
Yeah. If somebody lets him run the point at the NBA level, I mean, let him guard whoever he matches up with best. But I mean, that could be a really unique situation.
I think if he gets asked to play small forward, he just gets dominated. He's not strong, he's not quick or anything.
But he does have. I mean, he has a 3-point shot, which is kind of convenient for him. Like if you can't do anything else, stand in the corner and shoot threes. I mean, you still have a job. But there's like I've seen him top like 8, and then I've also seen him 20, 25 on various boards. So I don't know.
Just jumping back for a second, I know we talked about Stauskas, but a guy who he reminds me of is Mike Dunleavy.
Yeah. I could see that for this is more just like white player comparisons, but for Doug McDermott too.
Yeah, the Dunleavy. Any small forward coming out is Mike Dunleavy.
Yeah. Shooting guard is JJ Redick.
Mike Dunleavy went like 4 overall though in that draft. With
That was
Jay
a
Williams.
brand draft, right?
No, that wasn't the
That
Ranger.
draft was like the weakest draft.
That was like Battier, Jay Williams, Mike Dunleavy. Maybe Battier was the one before that. I don't know.
Somebody went 9th.
2002 NBA draft.
Oh, it was Amare went 9th.
Oh, that was a Yao Ming draft.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think this draft is going to be...
I'd rather have
Yes,
I'd
yes.
rather have Mike Dunleavy's
wrong.
dad than Mike Dunleavy on my team.
I've heard he might what team was it? Was it
The Knicks.
Yeah.
was it the Knicks? Yeah, that's not a good fit.
He was 3rd overall after Jay Williams and Yao Ming.
Mm-hmm. And Jay Williams like lost his leg in a motorcycle accident, but he looked really good before
Didn't lose
that.
his leg.
But
He almost did.
Yeah,
he
but-
still would have been drafted top 5 with only one leg in the last draft, so you don't have to worry about it.
Probably a better pick than Anthony Bennett.
There's a lot of a lot of international players in that draft.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of T.J. Warren?
I love T.J. Warren.
Yeah, he's going to be... I don't like his shot mechanic, but he looks good.
He's a straight out scorer. He can put the ball in the hoop.
He's very
I think-
underrated.
I think from like I don't know, if I put McDermott and Stauskas in like the top 12, I think 13 through 30, T.J. Warren is like the most prolific scorer available.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He scores a lot through like weird little like runners and stuff, doesn't he? Is that the guy that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, he can create his own shot really well. Because there was no one else on NC State.
Yeah.
And it was basically T.J. Warren and a bunch of white guys who could shoot threes. And Warren could create shots. He didn't need assists. He could do it off the dribble. He can get to the rim. I don't know how he is on defense. I think he might only be 6'5", so he's a little undersized.
Is he? I thought he was alright height.
Oh no, he's 6'8". Never mind.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's
He's
looking even better now.
yeah. I think he's good to go.
He had a
Taking
really
him top
high.
6.
What does everyone think of Rodney Hood? He was kind of a guy that was really high up there for a bit, and then he kind of lost his appeal for
His
whatever
problem,
reason.
his problem was that he played with Jabari Parker and got overshadowed.
Rodney Hood is a poor man's T.J. Warren.
No.
Rodney Hood's like a three-point shooter, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
reminds me of Tayshaun Prince.
a 3-and-D kind of guy that doesn't do anything really amazing, but
I could see the Hornets taking him at 9 in real life, just because they always take North Carolina players.
they need shooting on that team.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
I guess everybody does, but you know what I mean.
speaking of North Carolina players, where's P.J. Hairston going?
That's really interesting, because
Some people-
he's had a year in the D League now, right?
Yeah, and some people have him like late lotto.
high. Yeah.
Like NBA Draft.net has him 33. SB Nation has him 17. Like that's a big disparity. That's
Yeah,
a guaranteed
I
contract.
think he'll be around 20 somewhere, because he's a pretty solid point guard.
I just look at a name like Heston and think that can't be a good player. But, yeah, then I watched his highlights, and he's kind of like Dion Waiters a bit. I thought he's kind of heavy on top, but he looks like a solid player, but not great at anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They said he's like he could probably step in and be like a good solid role player. Around the right guys could probably come in and make an impact. He obviously has like some sort of problem that he couldn't stay at North Carolina.
He didn't even. He kept speeding. He got caught doing like 100 miles per hour.
That's not a good sign. He's gonna Ben Roethlisberger off of a motorcycle.
Another guy with big disparity is Glenn Robinson III.
Oh yeah.
Like
I think he's always around like the 30 area, like almost in and almost out, I guess.
I think he has like all the physical tools to be
He
a
needs
good
to lose
player.
weight.
Yeah, maybe needs to lose weight, but he just doesn't like want it sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this Jordan Adams? Does anybody spend any time even looking at him? I know I haven't really, but
No, I haven't looked.
He's like the third guy on UCLA, right?
yeah.
People are calling him Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about him.
He's just like an athletic guard who's not Russell Westbrook.
Why do they have Levine and Jordan Adams, but then Anderson, who's bigger than both of them, ran point?
Well, why did the coach play his son instead of Levine in the lineup? This just doesn't make sense.
Alfred Payton comes in at 27 on Draft Express. I've seen him as high as 15.
Alfred Payton gives me a prospect boner. He's just I honestly think even if he never develops his shot, he's Rajon Rondo. He's insane defensively. He gets to the hole at will, and he's really, really good at passing.
He is underrated.
Then we go. Cleanthony Early is a guy that I really like. I think he's a guy that is going to lose stock because of his age, but I think that's stupid. He's a really good player, and then he'll come in. Whoever gets him is going to be really happy with him because they're.
I see him and James Young as quite similar, but James Young's more solid, sort of reliable guy, whereas Cleanthony Early is more athletic, but will probably mess it up a lot.
He was one of the more athletic guys, if I remember correctly, from the combine. I mean, I try not to take too much from the combine because I want to compare where like these late round guys are with Andrew Wiggins, but I don't know anything about him because he didn't go to the combine. So I could see like where everyone actually kind of measures up. And some guys don't go to the combine, and there's a reason for that, I'd say.
Well, it's because, and they don't want to go because their stock's already the highest, there's no need for them to go.
Yeah, but for my purposes, which obviously they didn't bother considering, I want to see Wiggins at the draft combine.
How inconsiderate of them.
How'd you get a GIF as your logo? That's awesome.
I don't know. I just clicked it. I didn't even realize it was a GIF when I made it my logo.
James, who are you taking in the draft?
I'm not telling you.
Damn, you mean Chuck just gave it up instantly? I was hoping.
What? I mean, I don't care. If people know who I want, they're more likely to say, "Hey, like, here's the trade offer," because I know you want him.
I just want to know where I'm gonna fall. I think you should just give us an inside look at the lottery results.
He's not 1 and 2, which means I'm 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Wait,
know
so
about that.
Which pick does James have? Is this?
I-
I thought we were talking to Are you New Orleans or are you Charlotte?
Charlotte.
No, I'm Charlotte.
Oh, okay. I thought it was New Orleans for some
I
reason.
have the number 14 pick and then an undetermined pick in the top
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. Because I was looking, I was like, I don't think the Pelicans have a pick.
No. I think who else has the Pelicans pick? Isn't it Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Rockets.
So, do you want to do it right now? Just list off the lottery for anybody that's listened to this long enough to hear it.
No, we gotta keep it going. Because what bothers me is like when the playoffs roll around, all of the GMs who are not in the playoffs start to lose interest, and I think the lottery is a good way of at least keeping them into that, at least continuing with trading and stuff for people who are not in the lottery.
Like, there's a solid month between now and the draft. So what happens what happens after these picks are announced and the playoffs are over?
Well, when I've announced who's number 1, I'll just say, well, you can start now if you want. You can start picking because we already know who the good players are and stuff.
Yeah, but
Like you're not under any kind of time limit to when you have to pick by until June 26th when the draft starts. So we'll probably just get stuck on number 1 pick for the whole month or something.
Well, then we can also go into arguing about finalizing some of these ratings changes and elevating Josh Smith to the 99 overall that he's supposed to be.
Putting Chris Bosh at a 60 for Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
oh, for sure.
I think Bosch could push 70 if he tried.
He's got to really step up as a role player.
Yeah.
But so I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I'm signing Matthew Dellavedova, and you guys, I don't care what the Australian connection is. It's my guy. I'm drafting him, point guard of the future.
Do I need to add him still? I think I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
I've been waiting.
Toledovich needs to be added.
Cole
Yeah.
Aldrich needs a boost to 71.
Who is Cole Aldrich?
What?
He was
Well,
on Kansas.
He's supposed to get a boost, and he was rated in the 60s, so I knew I didn't have to go through a player.
I think he was on the Thunder for a while. I don't know what
No,
happened to him.
He wasn't a Thunder, but now he's on the Knicks. He played well in, like, I guess, the 2 minutes.
Well,
he
see,
played.
it's never good when you get traded to the Knicks.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad sign for your career.
He's a
Might-
free agent, though.
You
He's
might as
gonna
well not even put him in the game. He'll be out of the league in another year.
He'll be Powell's replacement for the Lakers.
One thing we need to sort out, actually. What was it, Josh, you were talking about? About
Oh, the bird rights? Yeah, we
Yeah.
could talk about that. I just
I'm
think
trying to look
personally
for the
that
thread.
too many teams have cap room right now.
Yeah. But, what was
There's
the reasoning? I had some pretty solid reasoning behind it. If you...
Well, I mean,
I
it's a
mean-
good way to reward teams for being loyal to their players,
Yeah.
but it's still, I don't know, it just seems like every year we have half the league has 20 million in cap room, which it doesn't happen in real life because of these cap holds.
Well, not only the cap hold thing, but I think one of the posts I put up was minimum contracts always being 490,000 is if you had to sign. Sorry, I'm gonna cough.
Well, that's why we brought injuries back. We were having a chat in the staff room about it, and we figured the reason why nobody pays more than the league minimum for a bench player is because if you're not got injuries, then you got nothing to worry about. They have very little value. So yeah, hopefully, well, I need to devise a proper system for when a player gets injured. But hopefully that'll increase the value of bench players. Also, I just put in some sort of arbitrary rules there with you're not able to sign a 70 or above rated player for the league minimum, and you have to negotiate, which is a pain in the ass for GMs. But it does look ridiculous, the number of league minimum contracts that have been signed.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
I think the problem is teams or GMs, I guess, they're very willing to pay a lot for superstars, but then very reluctant to pay anything else for mediocre players.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had Chris Humphries, I had him on it was like a $3 million to like $4 million 5-year deal for a 77 power forward, which is a great contract. And I had people tell me that it's a bad contract and they didn't want it. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, that's really cheap. What is that, like 1/20th of your overall cap room?
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with that. I mean, there's some where it's like league minimum makes sense, but like Anthony Tolliver is on the Bulls. I'm pretty sure he's like been in the league for 4 to 5 years. Like he should not have that minimum contract. That contract should be like at least $1 million. And I think
administrating things like that is a pain for me.
And it is a pain, but like maybe, for example, you instead of following the exact rules on I think it was Real GM I got it from, maybe make it, if a guy's a veteran, the minimum contract for them is $1 million as opposed to the $490,000 for just random dudes.
I guess what would be good if I made a whole new Google document spreadsheet with the length of
that sounds like a big pain though.
Well, maybe I could just change the way free agency works so that's how it works from now on, and we do it. The free agents list is done through a spreadsheet the same way the rosters are and the draft rights.
Yeah, we could just utilize player agents more. I mean, I think the 70-plus player agents is a good rule, and that's relatively new, right? I think that's probably within the past year.
Yeah.
So hopefully that alleviates some of the problems. But we still have all these teams with cap room right now.
I think that we definitely need the cap hold just because I don't know who was talking about it, but specifically Golden State, they're going to be able to re-sign Curry and have like 2 max contracts. And if you have 2 max contract players, you should really struggle to fill the rest of the team. But he's not going to have too much of a problem with all that cap space.
Yeah, I hope. We'll have a look at. Because it is an issue, isn't it? And Golden State would obviously be a really high priority free agent destination this offseason because they've done so well.
In the real NBA, if you're below the salary threshold, they redistribute it. So I mean, like if they're below like a certain point on the cap, you could say, all right, you're going to take a $10 billion penalty, and it goes to other like the rookie contracts. That might be an idea. I don't know, because that's how it works in the NBA.
What do you mean?
Yeah, why would we do that?
Like with the Sixers, okay? Like if the Sixers draft 8 rookies, their whole team is basically going to be rookies, which are cheap, and they're on rookie deals. And they're going to be below the salary threshold in the NBA. And what they're going to do is they're going to take the difference between their salary and the salary threshold and redistribute it. So the rookie deals become larger. And I'm saying, like, if you're like below 30 million, if you're like below half the cap, you got to at least have 30 million on your books. So like, say you're 25.
You're saying there's like a minimum amount of salary that teams have to have?
Yeah, in the NBA.
Yeah, but
I did not know that.
That's not how that works. I thought the way it worked
is
that you just pay whatever the difference is back to the league.
Yeah, you pay what the difference is to the players. So say like in here, say someone's under 30 million, which is like roughly half of our cap for next season.
But that doesn't affect their cap hold.
No, it wouldn't.
So what we could do is, you're saying like there's a 30 million minimum.
Yeah.
The maximum amount of cap space you can have is like 33 million if the salary cap is 63.
Yeah. So like if someone's at 25 and the threshold we have is at 30, they take $5 million and distribute it on the rookie contracts.
Yeah, but I think that in real life, their contracts don't count against the cap. Don't they just get that money?
Yeah, like
I think you're right
the,
on that, but I mean, in
the
here,
players on the team get the
But
money, but it doesn't affect the cap because that could really screw
right, it
things
doesn't
up.
affect the cap in real life, but I mean, in here, like just like because the problem is that teams have too much cap room.
Yeah, but I mean,
Not all of them are
there's
going to
obvious.
get to sign a player, though.
Yeah, I mean,
So people are still going to be beneath the cap. Or what you could do is you could say you're not allowed to have any more cap room than half the cap. So like if our cap's 62, everybody's like the most cap room you could have is 31, whether you're below 31 million in salary or not.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I think that everyone's going to get different level of players. Like I don't think that the Pistons are going to be able to sign the same level of players as say who's it, like the Lakers.
Well,
I think
the problem that they were talking about was that some teams have way too much cap room, and the other problem is that some teams that have max deals shouldn't be able to sign players as easily as they do.
Well, I think
yeah,
that has more to do with
the fact that
the bird rights, and there's no
Yeah.
cap hold. Yeah.
Guys, I've got to go, actually, because it's getting late here in England. So thanks for having me. I'll see you
all right,
later.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast so we can keep talking if you guys
Yeah,
want to.
I'm gonna head out too, actually.
Alrighty.
Yep, good discussion though. I enjoyed
All
it.
right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.